Fraser, go ahead.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. It looks beautiful out there. How are things?
Yeah, it's awesome. Actually, it's so nice to get out of the cold and add in some warmth, and especially here in Newlands. What a ground this is.
I guess to some extent, this is like going home for you to a degree, is it?
It is. I'd say when we go to Pal, that would be going home. That's where I made my debut and my first-class debut, even though it was the amateur system, and where I did all my school cricket and sort of where I was taught the game. So going to Pal will be going home.
What has it been like the first day or two, getting yourselves acclimatised again and getting into the nets and having some practice?
It's been good fun, actually. From someone like myself that wasn't at the IPL, not playing cricket for 2 months, it obviously takes a little bit of time to get into it. So having some outdoor nets has been really, really good. Getting back into the challenge of facing some bowlers was really exciting. You don't enjoy it too much when you're having to face Jofra and Woody in the nets, but it's it gets the heart going and the adrenaline pumping, which is what you want.
And obviously, you guys are going to be back in a bio bubble again. We've just seen the news that 3 of the South African players are having to self-isolate. So is it still very much something that's in everybody's minds?
It is. We have all the rules in place, and we are sticking to them as the England squad. We know how important being here is and this tour is. So anything that we can do to minimise the risk, we make sure that we are doing. Because we can't really afford 3 or 4 people going down at this time in the tour.
You've got to be careful, obviously, in everything you do, and it means that the squad is very closely knit together a lot of the time. Do you think that emotionally brings you closer sometimes together as a team?
It is. There's the boys all play Call of Duty online all the time, so they're always interacting with each other on that. So, they're busy with that, and all the off time you have, you are pretty much having coffees and being around each other. So it does create a good environment where you can get to know each other and spend a lot of time with each other.
There's a lot of different talking points that are around at the moment. I mean, Moeen Ali was talking yesterday about the subject of racism, and he was saying that he said, hand on heart, he hasn't felt like he's experienced any of the particular issues that have been raised in recent months. Is this something that you're familiar with? Is it something that you've experienced yourself?
No, it's not something I've experienced. It's not nice to hear these stories coming out, and it's really, really good that measures are being taken to allow this never to happen again in instances where it has happened. If you look at this England team, it's people come from all over the world, and it's making it as diverse as we possibly can. And as a team, we have a responsibility of driving certain things, and we're working quite close to the ECB and trying to sort out some things and put some things in place that, we feel strongly about, because, there is no place for racism in sport.
Is it something that you talk about amongst yourselves in the squad?
It is something that we sit down and we have chats about as a group. It's something that we feel really strongly about, and it's not something that we want to see in the game. And if there's anything that we can do as a group of England players to help change whatever has happened, then that's something that we will really push hard to do.
Cheers, Fraser.
And is that something you want to? Okay.
We'll come back to you in a minute. We're just conscious of time as well, so we'll go with David Charlesworth and then Ali Martin, please.
Hi, Dawid. You all right?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, yeah, not too bad, thank you. You go into this series with as the number 1 ranked T20 batsman in the world. I was just wondering how that sits on your shoulders. Does it give you confidence, or is it completely immaterial to you?
No, I've said before, actually, it's something that I'll probably enjoy more when I've retired. It's not something I'm really looking at right now. It doesn't guarantee runs, it doesn't guarantee you a spot in the team. So it's it's something that the day I retire, I'll look back at it with fond memories. But I think with anything, the higher your rankings in anything, and the more you get looked to, the more pressure there is on you. And that's something I'm trying not to let affect me by not worrying about where I am in terms of 1 or 20 or 100 in the world.
I mean, you've said there, you're the number 1 batsman in the world, but you're not totally guaranteed a place in the team with all the options England have up top. Is it just a case of trusting what's got you to where you are so far?
Yeah, it is. Look, I can only do what I can do. I can control selection and things like that. So, all I can do is put in the work in the nets, and if I get the opportunity to play, keep scoring as many runs as I can to put pressure on the guys that have the spots. Every opportunity is gold when you're trying to break into this team. So yeah, I can only do what I can control, and if that's good enough at the end of the day, then I hope it is good enough.
Thanks, Dawid. Go well.
Okay, Ali, mine, please.
Thanks, Danny. I actually had exactly the same question. So I'm happy to shoulder arms if there's anyone else in the queue.
No worries. We'll go with Scott Taylor at TalkSport.
Hi, Dawid. You mentioned about not guaranteeing a place in the side despite being the #1 ranked T20 batsman. Can you remember a time where competition in this T20 squad, a white ball squad, has been as strong as it is now?
I think the competition's always been strong. Since this, Owen took over as captain after that 2015 World Cup. The players that he selected and had in and around his team, they've all been fantastic players. And I think especially the guys that have been sort of established, they sort of know that the quality of players below them, the guys coming through, the Roots, the Bantons, guys still waiting in the wings. And I think that drives them to keep pushing the boundaries. That's one thing that Owen always talks about, is keep pushing the boundaries. That I think drives this team and drives the fact that everyone has to perform when they get the opportunities.
And there was a time where, a few years back, where it was rare for an English player to even play in the IPL. And you look at the upcoming Big Bash, there's 13 or 14 English players playing over there. Has English cricket ever been this strong in terms of the white ball stuff?
I don't think so. No, not in my time that I've been playing cricket. Maybe before that, but you look at the quality of players. Even domestic players coming through now are earning places in competitions overseas, which usually only would be for international players or players that knew someone from somewhere. So it's a great sign for English cricket that we're producing these players. It's a great sign that we can all play in these tournaments, because that's as close as it comes to international cricket, and that's your learning ground. To be able to play in front of 20, 30, 40,000 players and overseas, that pressure you can't replicate that in county cricket. When you've got a 2 or 3 year contract, so to go and play in these tournaments, it makes you deal with the pressure that comes with playing international cricket.
And I mentioned the English players playing franchise cricket. A lot of South Africans have as well. How excited are you to go toe to toe with some of the best players in the world?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Playing against South Africa are always a fantastic team, no matter what the format. They're always a hell of a challenge, especially at home as well. And you look at the way their players did in the IPL. So it just shows the depth that they've got at the moment as well. So I think it's going to be a fantastic series.
And just finally for me, just one on yesterday's announcement about England going over to Pakistan. You also obviously played in the PSL. How safe do you feel out there, and how excited are you to go back to Pakistan if selected?
Yeah, if selected, the Pakistan government and cricket board have done everything in their power at the times when I've been there to make us as safe as possible. The security details and things that protocols that you have to go through are unbelievable. So I don't think you feel safe, or you don't feel unsafe in Pakistan when you're part of these sort of protocols that they're putting in place, with all the armored vehicles. As long as the standard of that stays the same, I can't see too much happening. But they've been fantastic in the past, so hopefully that continues.
Cheers, Dawid.
Okay, I think the signal's struggling here. We're going to finish with Paul Newman. Last question.
Hi, Dawid. Just to say, do you think you've had to work harder than most to get to where you are now? You seem to have been unlucky at several junctions along the way, and even when you got 100 in Napier, there was a little bit of criticism. Have you had to work particularly hard to get to where you are now, do you think?
I think everyone has to work hard to play for England. I don't think it's ever just given on a plate. I think if you look at the limited opportunities I've probably had over the last, since I was in the first squad in 2016, the first 2020 squad, to only have played, 16 or 17 or 18 games, something like that. You obviously look back and think you probably didn't get, as much as a run, but, that's understandable with the quality of the players that England have had. And they won a World Cup. They've been absolutely fantastic. So, and as I said earlier, the opportunities that you get are like gold, and you have to capitalize on those opportunities every time you get to be able to stay in the squad. And I think that's the most important thing, is just being part of the 15 or 16 man squad, because that sort of gives you a sniff if someone does go down on the day.
And do you expect to start next week?
I have no idea. I'd like to say I am, but I have no idea. I think that's selectors and Owen Morgan and the coaches' question for them. I'd like to, but yeah, I'll leave that to them to make that decision.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time. Cheers. Oh, what ball.